Kei Mizutani, born on May 7, 1974, is a multifaceted Japanese actress and media personality known for her work across diverse platforms, including photobooks, films, and television series. With a career spanning several decades, Mizutani has cemented her status as both a cult favorite and a mainstream success in Japanese pop culture. Her visual appeal, charismatic presence, and strategic selection of roles have earned her dedicated followings not only in Japan but also across the United States and Europe. Beyond her public image, however, lies a nuanced narrative of artistic agency, gender representation, and media evolution in Japan. Kei Mizutani's career must be contextualized within the broader scope of Japanese entertainment history, particularly the idol and V-cinema culture of the 1990s. The Japanese idol phenomenon, which rose to prominence in the 1980s and matured in the 1990s, created a cultural space for young, attractive performers to engage in multi-platform entertainment. Parallel to this trend, V-cinema, a genre of low-budget direct-to-video films, became a fertile ground for experimentation and genre blending. Within this landscape, Mizutani emerged not only as an idol but as a daring figure who challenged conventional portrayals of women in Japanese media. Her most iconic role in the erotic action comedy Weather Woman, 1995, became emblematic of this duality: sensual yet satirical, commercial yet subversive. This video argues that Kei Mizutani represents a unique cultural figure whose career trajectory encapsulates significant shifts in Japanese media, particularly regarding the representation of women, the globalization of Japanese pop culture, and the blending of commercialism with artistic expression. Kei Mizutani's career began in the vibrant and often contradictory world of 1990s Japanese media, a period marked by the simultaneous glamorization and commodification of female performers. During this era, the concept of the idol, a young, often photogenic celebrity with a carefully curated public image, reached new levels of popularity. Unlike earlier idols who adhered to conservative and modest roles, Mizutani positioned herself at the intersection of traditional expectations and bold self-reinvention. Her early work in magazines and photo books aligned her with the visual gravitas expected of idols, yet her choice of roles soon distinguished her from her peers. Embracing opportunities in V-cinema, an emerging genre of direct-to-video films known for their experimental narratives and mature content, Mizutani took calculated risks that ultimately expanded her career possibilities. Her presence in these often low-budget productions was not merely for titillation; instead, it reflected an intentional navigation of a media space that allowed greater control over personal branding and artistic direction. Through V-cinema, Mizutani participated in narratives that were freer from the constraints of network television and mainstream film studios, giving her more agency in how she was portrayed. Unlike idols who were often relegated to roles of passive femininity, Mizutani's characters, even when hypersexualized, exhibited a sense of autonomy and subversiveness. Her participation in such projects challenged the binary between exploitation and empowerment, showing that female sexuality could be performed in ways that critique societal norms rather than simply conform to them. As she took on more complex and provocative roles, she redefined what it meant to be a female entertainer in Japan, inspiring future generations of actresses who sought more control over their careers. In doing so, Mizutani demonstrated a pioneering spirit, embracing both the visual demands of idolhood and the narrative freedom of V-cinema to establish a distinctive voice in Japanese entertainment. Kei Mizutani's most iconic role came in the form of Keiko Nakadai, the titular character in Weather Woman, 1995, a satirical film adaptation of the manga Otenki Onisan. The film became an instant cult classic for its bold blend of erotica, comedy, and critique of Japanese media sensationalism. As Keiko Nakadai, Mizutani portrays a former office worker turned weather reporter who uses her sexuality to rise in the ranks of a television station. On the surface, the character appears to conform to the trope of the seductive woman who weaponizes her beauty. However, Mizutani's performance transforms this stereotype into a complex commentary on power, ambition, and spectacle. Through hyper-stylized scenes and exaggerated performances, Weather Woman exposes the absurdity of media objectification while simultaneously reclaiming it as a form of empowerment. Mizutani's portrayal is deliberately theatrical, walking a fine line between parody and provocation, allowing her to embody a character that challenges both patriarchal narratives and the passive roles often assigned to women in Japanese cinema. The film's success, both domestically and internationally, underscored the shifting landscape of Japanese pop culture in the 1990s. Mizutani's performance received praise for its audacity and comedic timing, and the film was awarded Best New Actress at the Yokohama Film Festival. More than a personal triumph, Weather Woman marked a broader moment in which women's roles in media began to shift from mere objects of desire to active agents of satire and critique. In essence, the film functioned as a meta-commentary on the very industry it lampooned, and Mizutani's bold portrayal was central to its resonance. She did not merely play the Weather Woman, she inhabited a media archetype and turned it inside out. This capacity to critique through embodiment demonstrated Mizutani's deep understanding of her medium and elevated her from being simply a cult figure to a cultural commentator in her own right. Through this landmark role, she not only advanced her career but also contributed to broader conversations about representation, gender, and the performative nature of television journalism. Despite Kei Mizutani's acclaim and cultural impact, some critics argue that her career, particularly her roles in erotic comedies and photo books, perpetuates the very objectification she is often praised for subverting. Detractors contend that Mizutani's frequent portrayal of sexually provocative characters reinforces the notion that female success in Japanese entertainment hinges on physical appearance and willingness to be commodified. They suggest that regardless of the satirical framing or narrative context, the persistent focus on her body risks undermining any claims of empowerment. From this perspective, her roles may be seen not as subversive but as symptomatic of a media culture that continues to value women more for their visual appeal than their intellectual or artistic contributions. This criticism points to a broader tension in feminist media theory. Can sexual agency be truly empowering within a system that profits from the sexualization of women? While such critiques raise valid concerns, they often overlook the intentionality and nuance in Mizutani's performances. Rather than being a passive participant in her portrayal, Mizutani has demonstrated consistent agency in selecting roles that blur the lines between objectification and critique. Her work in Weather Woman, for example, is not simply erotic, it is layered with irony and social commentary that challenge the viewer to question media norms. Furthermore, Mizutani has publicly expressed her interest in roles that defy conventional expectations, indicating an awareness of the political implications of her performances. The evolution of her career also suggests that she was not trapped in one-dimensional roles. She appeared in mainstream dramas, comedies, and even international projects, showcasing a versatility that goes beyond the erotic image cultivated in her earlier years. Thus, rather than capitulating to objectification, Mizutani utilized the tools of spectacle to seize control of her narrative and assert a more complex version of femininity, one that embraces sexuality without being confined by it. Kei Mizutani's career offers a rich case study in the evolution of Japanese media, the transformation of female representation, and the global transmission of pop culture. Emerging during a period when Japanese idols were expected to uphold rigid standards of femininity, Mizutani diverged from these norms by embracing riskier, more subversive roles in V-cinema. Her bold choices culminated in her defining performance in Weather Woman, a film that not only launched her into cult stardom but also questioned the conventions of media portrayal and gender politics. Through calculated performances and genre-bending narratives, Mizutani redefined what it meant to be a female star in Japan, balancing erotic appeal with satirical intelligence. While some have criticized her work for perpetuating objectification, a closer examination reveals a performer deeply engaged with her image and agency, using them to navigate and critique a male-dominated industry. As argued throughout this video, Kei Mizutani stands as a compelling cultural figure whose career reflects and challenges the prevailing currents of Japanese entertainment. She is not merely a product of idol culture or V-cinema but a dynamic agent within them, one who pushed the boundaries of representation, gender norms, and global media reach. Her legacy is not only defined by her most famous roles but by her strategic negotiation of visibility, femininity, and artistic control. In doing so, she carved out a space for alternative narratives and inspired a re-evaluation of how female entertainers can exist within, and reshape, the systems that seek to define them. In an era increasingly defined by global media convergence and digital consumption, the story of Kei Mizutani resonates more than ever. Her career invites viewers and critics alike to look beyond surface-level performances and engage with the deeper implications of stardom, sexuality, and storytelling. As audiences continue to discover her work across continents and formats, Mizutani's unique blend of humor, sensuality, and critique remains a potent reminder that even in the most commercial of contexts, art can be subversive, and that a single actress, given the right script and vision, can change the conversation. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more content like this, please consider subscribing to our channel. By subscribing, you'll be notified when we upload new videos. Thank you again for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in our next video.